Welcome to another episode of the Talking Shop podcast, sponsored by Tropical Flavored Red Bull. I am Josh from Grand Slam. We got Michael, we got Jacob. We're here to talk shop with y'all on a Wednesday. What is up, boys?
When's that check coming from Red Bull, Taco Bell, Dr.
Oh,
Pepper?
they said they would sponsor me if I drank one every episode, but I have to pay for them and they'll never pay me. That was the deal. So
That's the worst sponsorship deal
That's rough.
ever.
I
That's a
said I'm doing that
sponsorship.
already, so what the heck? We'll just keep doing that.
Jacob, you got a rundown for us?
This week on the episode, Michael and Josh are back from vacation, so we're going to do a little recap about that. And then, is card collecting part of your vacation plans too? In hobby news, Panini pulls a shocker. Patrick Mahomes is back signing autographs. Tom Brady signings reach eye-watering prices. Would you pay $4,000 for a ticket autograph? Shedeur Sanders NFL slide. Is he a hobby darling or hobby dud? And Sports Illustrated drops a list of generation-defining baseball cards, which we debated a little bit over the weekend. Do we agree, or do we have better picks? All that plus what's new in the shop, some stock from last week that we didn't get to talk about, a big hit from the shop, and another crazy stat. But first, how was your vacation, guys?
Mine was with the whole family, so with 5 kids, and I always say, me and my wife always say when we get back from vacation, we need a vacation because our
Yes.
kids can drive us nuts, especially 9 hours in a car. We went down to Destin, Florida. We drove, so
Is it 9? A solid 9? Or
it's
is
a
that
pretty
with
solid.
like stops and eating and bathroom
Like,
breaks?
if you drove fast and didn't stop much, maybe 8.5, but it's a solid 9 with a stop or two. We don't stop a lot as a big family. It's like go to the bathroom and get some snacks before we start.
Yeah.
We're not stopping till halfway probably. So
This is your chance.
Yeah. What's halfway from here to Destin? What's the halfway point?
maybe Atlanta,
Yeek. Yeah, don't stop
rough.
there.
maybe. Yeah, it's probably.
Stop in
I think
Auburn.
on the
Did
way
you drive
down we
through
stopped
Auburn?
a little past Atlanta. I don't know. We split the driving going down and really just followed GPS. The only reason I knew we stopped out just a little bit past Atlanta the first time. The second time it brought us back. It didn't take us through Atlanta. It took us on some back highways. It was a smidge faster because I think it was avoiding probably. We came back Friday night. It was probably avoiding like Friday Atlanta
Yeah.
traffic. And
Yeah, you got to stay away, man.
Yeah.
Got to stay away. I had a buddy in college when I was at Auburn, and he was driving to Alaska. And he said, this is paraphrasing because got to clean it up a little bit. But he said when he got to the U.S. Canada border in Washington, he was halfway. That's like heartbreaking. I feel like when you leave the country, you should almost be there, but he was halfway. Well, we did not. My family and I did not go to Destin. We went in the opposite direction up to close to Richmond, Virginia, Norfolk, Virginia. And this is me just being an ignorant adult. I had no idea that there's a national park in that area. It's called Yorktown. And we saw where George Washington had like a little staging area. And it was really cool. You know, I wouldn't say that I'm a history nerd, but when it comes to like that sort of thing, I can get down. So
sounds really boring.
it was absolutely boring, but when you you got to put the brave face on for the kids when it's educational.
Can I if I wonder if I can send this to y'all and we could show it. I'll try to send it to you, Jacob, and then you can throw it in the chat. It's a really short video, but we took this one of the days we were able to. Where's it at? I think it's this one. one of the days we were able to rent a boat and go out on the Gulf of America. And, yeah, I sent a video there, but couldn't go out on the ocean. I learned that lesson because we went out just a smidge too far. They called us back in, but I sent that video. I don't know if it comes through. We can show it. It's really cool. Like, this is phone.
Wait a minute. What did you think? What size was this boat, and how far do you think you could have gotten,
dinghy.
Josh?
So last year when we went down, you rent this boat. It's a pontoon boat. So you remember I have 5 kids, so there's 7 of us. It's like a 10-person
family of 7 lost in Gulf of America. This is the headline we avoided here. Oh my gosh.
You're able to go all around that bay area there off the Gulf, but there's a little jetty opening that goes out onto the ocean. And, there's boats out there. There's boats out in here. I just tooled right on out there on the ocean, and I'm probably, half a mile out on the ocean, and they call my cell phone and say, our GPS has you out on the ocean. You need to come back.
You gotta come back.
There. So I was like, oh, I had no idea where I'm just. So this time where this video takes place, here it is. If you're watching, you can see the video. But see, those are just dolphins right there. I'm just out on the edge of the ocean where you're not quite supposed to be.
It's pretty cool.
We took a catamaran tour last year in Hawaii, and dolphins were swimming like right because it had like a little net part you could lay on in the front of the boat, and dolphins were swimming right up under that. That was pretty cool.
Yeah, I won't send it. I have an even better one of that where I've taken the boat and I'm trying to get my kids all have their phones out and recording, and we're all trying to get good videos of it. And I kind of circle around where they're at. We get some really close little video shots of them. That wasn't the best one. But
they're bigger than they look.
Yeah, and they're not afraid of the boats. They'll just go right under it, right up to it.
No, I've swam with dolphins. I swam with dolphins, and they will toy around with you. Like, they will bump into you and smack you around a little bit. And some of these dolphins are the size of couches. They're big animals, and when you get in the water with them, you are at their mercy. So that's pretty cool.
Like a fish out of water.
Yeah, I rode around a American Revolutionary battleground. Didn't see any dolphins, but what we did, so I was really cheesy, and we were riding around these woods where it had these Revolutionary War battles, and I was playing like the soundtrack to The Patriot. Right on the way in, and my family is just rolling their eyes, and I was like, and this is what happens, this is what can happen when they change a soundtrack to a movie. And then on the way back out of the woods, I played like Blair Witch Project or something, and it got real creepy in a hurry. But I did want to ask, and Jacob, can you pull up that link where it says best and worst vacation spots? So we went to Richmond, Virginia. Josh went to Destin. Let's see what's on this, and let's see where we land. So Orlando, absolutely the worst spot ever for a family vacation.
That's where I go every year.
Yeah, you don't have kids.
No. I got a nephew.
So this is best or worst?
This is number 1 family vacation spot in America, according to U.S. News. This is absolutely tone deaf. Have you priced out what it would cost your family, a family of 7, to go to Disney World, see every park, and then eat?
For Josh, it would be about $1,500 a day, probably.
Yeah, I was going to say $10,000 just to...
before hotel.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's if you sleep in your car.
No thanks.
It's out of control.
Just don't go during the summer. That's my recommendation.
Yeah, and then you go. You've never been to Disney World?
Mm-mm.
Oh, we're going. Grand Slam trip.
Never mind. This is the best place on earth, Josh. I want you to take all the video of standing in line for 5 hours to go see Rapunzel. It's awesome.
Before you show the next one, I'll show my answer to that one. Every time we'd go out to eat in Destin and I'd get the bill, this meme came to my mind, and Jacob, it's there in the chat if you'll throw it up on the screen. this meme.
Yes. It's the Tiger King.
Yeah,
and it
Tiger
says,
King.
I am never going to financially recover from this. It
So-
is so expensive. Like, we will pay a little more to be in an Airbnb to where we can just cook.
Yeah, we did
So-
that that was kind of our, like, we told the kids, like, we'll eat out one nice meal once a day.
Yes.
We were only there. We drove 2 days and we were there 3 days. So it was like, yeah, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. So we ate, usually got up, did the beach, ate lunch there at the condo, which was sandwiches and chips and stuff. Then went back out, played on the beach, and then went out to eat that night. So one expensive meal a day was enough for me.
That's how it felt in Hawaii, because Dad was like, we want to eat stuff because we don't know if we're going to come back, because it is such a haul to get there. It's 10 hours, not even including how expensive it is. And then every lunch and dinner was like the price of a plane ticket, it seemed like.
Yeah.
It was rough.
Yeah.
It was
We got
really
a
rough.
couple guys on Instagram. We've got Eric's JK. How you doing? Thanks for joining us, Eric's. And Lion Amongst Men.
Lion Amongst Men, yeah.
Men.
He's one of our shop regulars. What's up?
Sweet. He says dolphins are the Diddy of the sea.
Ooh. Is that from all the oil in the ocean or what?
They're known to be playful.
All right,
And-
what's number 2 on this one?
We're trying to keep it a family show, Lion Amongst Men.
Yellowstone. See, I can get down with this. I just don't know how hard it would be to get there to Yellowstone. So, okay, let's see if we can work our way through this list. Yeah, I like DC too.
I tried to go. It was crowded. I just kept on going.
Yeah.
So I haven't been to Yellowstone. I've been to DC a couple years ago with one of my kids.
Yeah.
It was cool.
So we
Yosemite.
got some national parks here for the family thing. I like this.
Those
I like
two
that.
I went with family as a kid. I don't remember them much. I would love to go back.
Oh yeah. So keep going.
Never been to
Yikes.
Disneyland.
So
Anaheim was really
this is a paid spot from the Disney Corporation. They paid
Yeah.
for this article to be written. Let's move on. What's the next one? Cape Cod. I've actually been there. My wife has family there. Look at this, Josh. I didn't even look at this. And look at what's the number 8.
Offers everything from dolphin spotting excursions.
Yes. If you take your boat out illegally into the ocean.
I will say, outside of ocean stuff, there is not a whole lot of other stuff to do. The first day we were there, it was kind of rainy the first part of the day.
Mm.
So we said, let's just Google fun things to do in Destin. And it was like not much except for like some arcades and mini golf. It was not nearly as touristy as like obviously Myrtle or the mountains or Pigeon Forge or anything. Not very. You're there for the clear water and the white sands, and that's about
Yes.
it.
Yeah. Yee. The Wisconsin Dells coming in hot in the top 10. Coming
Well,
in
that'd be
at
a
9.
hard sell.
Yeah, boy. And
San
then
Diego.
the entire city of San Diego, apparently.
Our viewers are probably like, I thought this was a card podcast.
I know. Well, so let me transition out of this. So you can we don't need to see, because we know that this was sponsored by Disney World. That's the only way those two things get into the top 10 for families. But do you make it? Do you make your collecting? Meaning, AKA, do you see if there's a local show or local shops? Is that part of vacationing for you, Josh?
Typically it is. Yeah, I love to go look to see if there's a card shop in the area.
Now, are you going as a collector, or are you going to see what other shop owners are doing?
Both for sure. I've been in when certain products were hard to get a few years back, when I was in Pigeon Forge or Gatlinburg. I visited a card shop there and spent a bunch on product that he had a good price on, gave me, and then gave me a little discount for spending a bunch, and I was at least able to have a little product on the shelf when we came back. It was when a really hot product came out, and we had sold out, you couldn't find it, and he had a little bit of it. But I like to do that. I always go in and look to see if there's some Tom Brady's. I never tell people about being a shop owner. I just go there as a customer, and so even when they ask me why I'm buying a, $6,000 worth of stuff off of his shelf, I just make it sound like me and my boys like to rip. I just don't want to have that combo.
They should recognize you from the podcast.
Yeah, like I'm surprised all the card shops I've been into, no one has put two and two together. I wear a pair of reading glasses like Clark Kent, and so they just can't recognize me.
There you go. We've got Andrew chiming in on the Facebooks. He's saying you're visiting as a hostile takeover attempt.
Not me, Andrew. Not me.
Jeff,
I'm a very timid, quiet customer asking about Brady cards.
Yeah. All right. Well, I thought that would be a fun little discussion. And I think Destin may be a place where I take the family. They've never seen clear water like that, and it's going to have to be that, and not Hawaii. Not all of us are like Jacob, and to go see.
It was fun.
The North Shore. Yeah.
I've never been more at peace than I was over there, so I will give them that.
They must have thought you were Andre the Giant.
I was the big kahuna.
The big kahuna. You must have been standing 2 feet taller than most of the population in Hawaii.
Have you seen what Polynesian dudes look like? They're big guys too. That's why they're all like on the NFL line.
Andrew's got a point there, Josh.
I'm probably more diabolical than Clark Kent too. So at least you didn't say Dr. Evil.
All right. On that note, Josh, we've got a whole bunch to cover here, especially things that were in the shop that got restocked, and then things hitting the shelves this week. Let's run through those photos, Jacob, so Josh can.
Some of this restocks or the new.
Some of this it doesn't matter. I'll just say it as it comes. Some of this is last week's releases, like a Friday release after the podcast. This is a today release. Got Prism Premier League soccer hobby boxes. Those are on the shelf right now. This also released today. I'm hoping it. Well, let me make sure. I don't want to get in trouble. Top sometimes throws me a curveball and it doesn't release till tomorrow. So, no, it's today. I'm good. So those are available today. That's Topps Chrome Black, always a favorite. And then this came out the other day, Topps Motif. This is 23-24 Topps unlicensed basketball, but you're chasing Wemby rookie autos. And that product, a little high end. I think it's like 3 to 5 autos a box, something like that. So
nice.
High-end basketball. We got autographed mystery basketballs. That came in last week when I was gone. Heritage launched last week. We sold a lot of it. I've got more arriving any day now. We still got a little bit left on the shelf, but more is coming. It's been a good product. This was a hot product. Got a fresh case of that filled in a day or two ago. So that's on the shelves again, if anyone likes that product. One of my personal faves. Stars and Stripes baseball hit the shelves last week while I was gone. We got another fresh case of that on the shelf, plus the H2 boxes, which are not pictured. Those are on the shelf as well. We sold out of Topps Tribute, got one more 4-box case in the other day, so that is on the shelf as well for our high-end baseball fans. And Andrew says, is any of this product going to turn into a break for your loyal listeners? Stay tuned for Bowman. That's coming up. And those seem to fill faster. I don't like slow filling breaks, and so I'd rather just sell it off the shelf. But Bowman will fill fast. So that is on the horizon. I got a good bit of it coming. So keep your eyes peeled. Plus, you like that product, Andrew. And Andrew, if you'll remember, I haven't posted this yet. I pulled him the number to 25 Cam Smith, Cubs prospect, Bowman draft auto. Andrew, if I'm butchering any of this, refresh me because it's been a little bit. But he graded it, if I remember right, got a 10 and sold it for over $6,000.
Yummy.
Andrew, give us in the comments the exact specifics of what I just butchered there. But that's a big, low-numbered Cam Smith auto that I pulled in a break, recently sold for buku bucks. Congrats,
That's
Andrew.
awesome. Congrats.
Don't forget to tip your local card shop.
I was waiting for that.
He said I was all correct. So, yep, there we go.
Awesome. Well, we are going to talk about Bowman next week. We're going to take a bit of a dive into that product. It'll be on release day, so it may be stuff that you already know, but we love that product. There's some really cool inserts coming out, as well as a redemption. So stay tuned for that episode next week. All right, Jacob, play that promo.
Are you looking to get your cards graded? Well, here at Grand Slam, we've simplified the process of submitting and getting a card graded. All you have to do is drop off your cards and kick your feet up, while our transparent tracking ensures that you are up to date with every detail along the way. When you log into our website, you'll immediately be greeted with each card in the grading process, along with where it's at in the process and its final grade. And with over 1,000 submissions and some of the top cards across the country being submitted through us, we have become a well-trusted source to handle and submit your cards. So you can do more collecting and leave the chore of grading to us. So don't sit on grading your cards. Get them submitted today at Grand Slam, where grading's made easy.
And speaking of grading, are we going to do a hit from the shop right now?
Yeah, we can save that for the end. We can wrap things up with that.
Because that card is on its way Super Express to PSA. We'll talk about that.
It's a monster card, guys. Stick around for that. If you haven't seen it on our socials, it's
a big deal.
Yeah. All right, Jacob, what do you got for us for hobby news this week?
Our first story is about Patrick Mahomes. Well, you said first Travis Hunter, now Patrick Mahomes, as far as Panini getting their autograph rights.
I do not know what is happening over at Panini, and this is just me just assuming that they're swirling the drain. I mean, Topps is getting these licenses within the next, 8 to 12 months, both the basketball and the football licenses. But what was it, about a month ago, they announced they signed an exclusive with Travis Hunter, and now Patrick Mahomes signs an exclusive with
Not
Panini.
exclusive.
Oh, it's not exclusive.
Not exclusive.
But that still helps Panini for sure.
So it's not exclusive. I want to say that the Travis Hunter one was exclusive.
And Shedeur was exclusive, I think.
Shedeur doesn't matter, does he?
He does. You bite your tongue. He's going to prove the haters wrong.
Oh, I love it. Oh, well, teasing that topic that's coming up. What are your thoughts on this, Josh?
I mean, I'm just telling you, if Brady had autos and Leaf products, I'd personally buy a lot of Leaf. So I think it's, the Mahomes hunters, it gives them a reason to buy unlicensed Panini when and if that day comes. So I like it. Panini's putting up a fight. They're not going down without a fight. And if there's anything in unlicensed product that's worth chasing, I mean, that's why Leaf does a good job for being a unlicensed product. Me and Sean here at the shop, both Patriot fans, both Tom Brady fans, and we're like, man, if Brady was in Leaf product, I don't care if it's licensed or unlicensed. I got a Brady auto. I'm all about it. So I don't care if it's licensed or unlicensed. My favorite player signed that card. Sure, I'd love for it to be licensed, but to be able to buy into some product at a lower price and still hit some of these big name autos, I'm all for it.
So better for the hobby.
I think so. The The only way
Worse
you could
for the
argue
manufacturer.
worse for the hobby is it gets really confusing because here it's been Topps now has some of the big auto chasers, but it's unlicensed, and Panini has a license but doesn't have some of the big auto chasers. You're like, well, that'll all fix itself when Fanatics gets the license. Then they'll have the big names and the license, and now it just flip flops it. So now Topps will have the license but won't have some of these bigger names, and then Panini won't have the license, and they'll have some of the guys you're chasing. So it sucks in the sense of if you want Jaden's auto, you got to buy Topps product. If you want, JJ McCarthy's auto, you got to buy Panini product. So that's the only way that it kind of sucks. It just, and then a lot of customers that aren't living and breathing this hobby every day, they're just average customers, get confused about, it's second nature to us because we tell people 10 times a day who's in what product, but they come in and they're like buying a Panini product thinking they have a shot at a Caleb Williams rookie auto, and we have to clear the air for them, which we do despite one Google review that says we lie to people.
Yes, all the time. I'm gonna rewind a little bit. Andrew's saying that he's always trying to support you from afar. He's got your bar tab in Chicago when you're here in a couple months. So Andrew,
he's trying to get off cheap.
Yeah. Josh that's going to be quite a bar tab. Josh can throw down.
I hope you're ready to pay for them Dr. Peppers because that's all I drink. I don't drink alcohol. So
I can't believe you told him that.
If
I was wanting him to sweat a little bit.
If you're I sure look like a hardcore beer drinker, don't I?
Absolutely. So for me, I'm wondering, because Leaf products, even though they have some larger names signing, are those typically stickers? Do you guys see these larger names that are signing these deals with Panini that are not exclusive? Glad you guys corrected me on that. Being sticker autos, and do you think that matters?
Sticker autos always matter as opposed to on card, but you get those high end products. One of the sales pitches we use, like Tribute Baseball that just came out, it's really expensive this year. But you're getting on card autos, and that means something to people. So, yeah, I think in the lower end products, you're going to have their stickers on them, and in the higher end products, they have the rights and they'll be on some of the cards. So.
Yeah. Now, does this happen in other sports? Because I noticed the final releases of Impeccable and Immaculate for WWE from Panini. Those had sticker autos, even though I thought those were typically not, like those were on-card autos. Does that happen in other sports?
I mean, typically those higher-end products are on-card, which is another reason why they're higher-end products.
Right.
Yeah, I don't want. There's probably some instances where they have to use stickers for whatever reason, but
I'm sure they make the decision. They do the calculus, and they're like, should we have sticker autos or should these be redemptions? And I would rather have a sticker auto than a redemption.
And you got to think too, when they're advertising the product, it often says, find 3 on-card autos per box. So they can't say that if they have some sticker autos in that product. So most of the time, those higher end products, if they're on-card autos, they're on-card autos. I think there's a few exceptions where they don't advertise that all the autos are on-card, but on Tribute, they say 3 on-card autos. So,
so you still get high-end Patrick Mahomes from Panini, unlicensed on-card autos going forward.
That's what I'm assuming, yeah.
That'd be cool.
Yeah.
That'd be cool. Well, speaking of high-end autographs, how about that for a segue? This was sent into our group chat, and we had to talk about this. Number one, because of the numbers and that we're seeing here for these autographs, and number two, because it's TB12, and we've got a hardcore Brady collector as one of the hosts. So we have to talk about this and see where the limits are with regards to this. So can you pull that up, Jacob?
Yes.
Now, Jacob, did you send this in? You sent this into the chat, right? So where did this come across your feed? Where did you find this?
I have probably Facebook. If I saved
Okay.
the photo rather than screenshotting it, I probably saw it on Facebook.
Okay. So if you guys are just listening, just give a rundown of what this is, Jacob.
This is a mail-in opportunity for Tom Brady to sign some stuff through Fanatics. And what was it? Happening May 15th, and then it has all the things, the tiered pricing, which is a new thing in the last. Well, no, it's not new in sports, but anyway, tiered pricing, a bunch of things, and you could add inscriptions for one heck of an upcharge, and then it gives you specific inscriptions you could have, and all kind of stuff like that.
So go through some of these numbers for those folks that are just listening to this.
So for your flat autographs, which are 8x10s, but up to 16x20s, is $2,000, which is over the top. Then for oversized flats, canvas or mini helmets, $2,300. For footballs, $2,500. Helmets, jerseys, equipment, $3,000. Tickets, $4,000. And on top of that price, if you want an inscription added, it's an additional $2,000, and there's a limited number of inscriptions available. And it gives you a list of ones that you can have, like whatever specific Super Bowl MVP, champ, go Bucks, go Pats. Stuff like
so Josh is my best friend cannot be one.
No, not at all.
Definitely not.
So, Josh, are you
No.
choking on the price here, or are you like, this is kind of cool, let me go and find a jersey? Or like, what are you thinking here as a Tom Brady collector? And you've got a pretty substantial collection. We've teased about you doing maybe an episode to walk us through your collection, and there's some big cards in there, but what are you thinking here?
It seems expensive, and here's why. I got a nicely licensed, autographed Patriots jersey, and those are like $1,800, and I didn't get to meet him for that. I just bought the jersey, so it's not.
And
like
you don't get to meet him for this price either.
Right, that's my point. I would understand these prices if you got to meet him and get the auto, like maybe get a picture of him signing it with, or a selfie with him or something. But why not? It's the same as just going and finding a nice Fanatics licensed jersey for half the price.
Yeah, this makes zero sense.
It's absurd, but it, like Josh said, if you meet him, you can factor in the experience somewhat.
Meet him. This better include like the breakfast buffet somewhere. I mean, this is crazy. This is not experiential at all. This is just sending something in. And I mean, are they going to send you a video of him signing it? Like, are they authenticating it on the spot? Like, what's the fine print there say? I'm too blind and
I mean,
lazy
I would
to
imagine
read
you
it.
send all these in, and he takes a day sitting there with Fanatics reps and just signs all of it in front of them, and then they hand it off and go ship it back to the customer, right? I would imagine that's how it is.
I don't know. Jeff is chiming in. He says, these prices are outrageous. It doesn't help most collectors out there who collect him and can't afford these prices.
The small print at the bottom also says artwork and game used pricing upon request, and pricing will be given at that time if allowed. So if you had like a Brady Super Bowl jersey for whatever ungodly reason, and you're like, this would be something to have signed, that's a special order.
Yeah, and I mean that's the only instance these prices make sense, when you've got something that you just can't find on eBay or another marketplace. Like, you know, maybe you've got an original Super Bowl ticket or something, or a piece of game used memorabilia that you bought of his. You can't find that autographed. You're like, man, I'd pay $2 or $3 to have his autograph on this item I own. I could understand that. Something you just can't. But if a jersey or a big matted photo or something, you can go to the National and find this stuff cheaper.
Yeah.
With
For
great
that price, for that price to have something autographed, it would have to be something, in my opinion, like headlining a golden auction like series.
Yep.
Where it's the only thing it's missing is a signature. So why not throw 3,000 on top of it?
Yeah. At these prices, it better be a one-day turnaround.
I want it hand
I
delivered.
mean, yeah, like if he signs something, are they going to mat it and frame it, authenticate it, get it back to you? I mean, this is bananas, but it's Tom Brady. So,
and it's only licensed items. So if you were to send in like an unlicensed product,
I'm surprised there's no like it doesn't have a price for sports cards.
Yeah.
And why they wouldn't do that, because that'd be another one that maybe
that'd be a flat, I think.
Oh yeah, that might fall under flat. Yeah, good call.
Which
like you could just send in a stack.
Well, not
spread
for,
them out.
Not for $2,000 a piece, right?
$2,000 a piece. I mean,
like, what if you've got a really low numbered, I don't know, maybe a 1/1 Brady of something that looks cool for $2,000. Now it's an autographed 1/1. You probably would make a little money at that. There'd be some instances where the price makes sense. It does seem awfully high. Which again, how do you keep the pop control under control? You charge a lot for the service, and that keeps it from being the new Joe Montana of autographs.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, I would need if I were to send in like a booklet or something for him to sign. It's it's going straight. I'd say just send that straight to PSA. And then what if PSA says, we're not going to authenticate the auto?
To put this in perspective to somebody else, I don't know if you want to put them on the same level, but like top of their division, I guess you could say, is Mark Hamill was charging $750 for an autograph last winter or last fall, I guess you could say. Now, I know Mark Hamill and Tom Brady are two different people to a lot of different people, but that's the only thing I could think of off the top of my head to compare price-wise.
Well, drop your thoughts in the comments. Like, what do you guys think? Are these outrageous? Is Tom Brady the only one that could have his name on this sort of thing and people not just completely roast him? Like, I wish there was a post on this. I wish you had this on a post, because then we'd sort of be able to look at what the comments say. So if you can dig that up, it'd be interesting to see what other collectors think about this. If this is in line, if this is crazy, and if they maybe it'd be really interesting to see what the metrics are, like how many pieces of memorabilia actually get sent in to this. I don't know. What do you guys think? Drop it in the comments. Let us know.
Quick research trying to find the post. I found another website that offers specific Tom Brady autographs, and they're charging $3,600 for an autographed helmet, as opposed to the 3,000 here, which I mean, still both are stupid expensive, but just I don't know.
Yeah.
Oh, and the last time Tom Brady had a autograph opportunity was the whole Tornado Tom controversy. So are they going to be able to ensure that something like that doesn't happen again? It's
crazy.
Yeah.
Well, Fanatics, if you're listening, we'd love some details. All right, what's our next story?
Our next story is about Josh's favorite, once again.
Oh, yeah. So this is we're looking at an article. It says Super Bowl champ gives reasons why Shedeur Sanders fell to the 5th round of the NFL draft. A lot with this story, right? We saw that he signed with Panini, an exclusive with Panini. He's super hyped, pretty charismatic, famous dad. Doesn't go in the first round. Doesn't go in the second round. Doesn't go in the third round. And this is one of the things that And I'm not a football expert, but at some point, if you're an NFL owner, you're like, oh, wow, no one else is moving on this guy. There's no demand for him. Why am I going to overpay him? And
Before Josh chimes in, because I know he has a lot to say about this,
yeah,
I would akin this to the movie Draft Day with Kevin Costner, where
good movie.
did a little bit of research, found something they didn't like. It kind of got out a little bit to certain it's a movie, whatever. But it was the same kind of blueprint for what seemed to happen last week. Like, why is nobody jumping? Well,
Josh, you're on mute, brother. Professional podcaster.
Sorry.
We've only been doing this for 3 years.
One of my employees was asking me a question. I didn't want to interrupt. I think it's getting, because he's polarizing, it's getting a little more attention than it probably should have. I saw an article where 2 other quarterbacks that had monstrous college seasons went way late. Will Howard was one, and I can't remember the name of the other one. And so it's like, this is just a draft potentially where quarterback wasn't super important for a lot of the teams.
Mm.
And then the couple teams that it was, Giants and whoever else, there was things they liked more from a couple other guys. And so
Right.
I think that combined with, like Jacob said, probably a couple things they weren't impressed with. And how many of these guys come out of the gate acting like they own the world and that they get to dictate some things, and they never end up being the franchise game changer that they swear they're going to be. And so now organizations are probably like, you guys are all the same. You talk a big game, but no one ever seems to be able to back it up. I just think it's a storm of all of those things. And I'm pulling for him. I'm like, how cool would it be if he won the starting job and they just went out there and rocked and rolled for the Browns? It'd be awesome. But I think it's a combination of all those things. I'm saying no one's lighting the world on fire because of a couple of these other quarterbacks that went way later than people thought they were going to go.
Yeah. Well, Will Howard apparently had the worst combine in the history of combines. So that's probably why he didn't get. I don't know who the other guy was. So everything that I have read and watched, and I don't trust anything online anymore, but that he interviewed terribly, like very aloof and not very humble. And why would he be, right? He's been told he's been great his entire life, and his father has legacy in the NFL and is friends with every cable news network in the world. I just think at some point he showed these NFL owners. I mean, it's different, right? If he was a wide receiver or a cornerback or another skilled position, those positions aren't necessarily called to lead other men. Like, these are grown men that you want to rally behind an individual and run through a wall. And I just think that they looked at this kid and said, yeah, I don't know if his offensive linemen are going to be blocking for him very hard. And then we're going to pay him $50 million and this kid's going to get hurt. And
so are you insinuating that he was not likable for reasons either he caused himself or others might have caused for him?
He caused himself. I've heard that too.
Which ties back in, like I said, with the movie Draft Day. It was a dumb little detail, but he found out none of the guy's teammates showed up to his birthday party. Why would you not show up to the captain of the team's party? You know what I mean?
Yep.
Yeah.
Something like that. I think that's kind of what you were like leaning towards, Michael. Also, it seemed like the guy was putting a forced spotlight on himself, and his dad was putting a spotlight on himself.
Another thing, and then we'll talk about cards here because we're not a football podcast. But another thing was that, the Deion Sanders. I think that that sort of the halo effect of being Deion Sanders' son probably did not work in his favor.
And you got to wonder if he, you know, how sometimes maybe he would emulate Deion in a few ways, and if you can't back it up, like Deion could back it up. He was the best, by far at the time. Yeah. If you can't back it up, you can't talk that. And they've seen too many times where these guys come out and talk the Deion talk, but they don't walk it. And so until he can walk it, I mean, the organizations have nothing to lose. And so I think it'd be cool if he walks it, but
let's flip this to a card conversation, right? Is he now, how far does he fall value-wise, and does that make him one of these guys to where you take a shot? Because physically the goods are there, and he just has to get to that at least backup role and then be ready in case somebody falters.
In training camp and preseason will be big because, look at all the stock JJ McCarthy got. He didn't play a single regular season game, but he looked really good in preseason. He won the starting role. If Shedeur can win the starting role or be in the competition for starter and shuts his mouth a little bit, and it looks like this dude could end up being the starter and he's looking really good, then I think his cards have a lot of potential. Otherwise, I think they're going to be low until he proves something.
Yeah. Maybe an opportunity there. Maybe an opportunity to if there's a long-term hold on NFL quarterbacks, right?
And Andrew says he's same team and jersey number as Money Manziel. There is a difference though, and you're probably aware of this, Andrew, that Shedeur comes from good family stock. Like, there's no worry that Shedeur's on drugs, or there's no worry that Shedeur's out gambling and partying. And like, Deion might be prime time, but he's a good father, and he keeps his boys level headed. They like to advertise themselves and market themselves, but I think they're good guys. And so I don't think that's probably the safest thing about Shedeur that teams know. Like, they know he comes from good stock.
Yeah.
And so
would you guys like to compare two card sales of Shedeur before and after the draft, actually with the same serial number card that looked like it got resold?
Let's do it. We are a card podcast.
So this is before the draft. I don't know if this was a best offer or what, but this was the sold listing. And it's not even showing. There you go.
So if you guys are just listening, it's the 2023 Bowman Chrome University Shedeur Sanders. It's the early risers insert out of 99 PSA 10. This is a verified, or is this listed?
This is sold, but I'm going to double check and make sure that's what it sold for.
$399.99. So someone just smacked the best offer.
This is after the draft with the same serial number. That's why I want to verify.
That first one could be, the first one might not have got paid and it ran again. It looks like. Yeah, there's just not a lot of cards out there too. There's going to be some Leaf stuff and some Bowman U stuff, but I don't know.
We'll see, guys.
When a guy gets a big spotlight on him like that, the industry keeps a very close eye. The hobby keeps a real close eye. He's polarizing.
He is. And Josh, I go back to a phrase you use, especially with quarterbacks and superstars, that the hobby likes, that maybe the league doesn't. We'll see if the hobby crowns this guy and says, now all of a sudden he becomes a sympathetic figure. Apparently there was some prank call that happened, and that he handled it very well. And he showed a side of himself that you wouldn't think would have been there based on NFL teams not picking him. So I'm rooting for the kid, right? I mean, if you took every mistake that I made between 19 and 25 and made them public, yikes.
That's what
It
we'll do
was
for next
not
week's episode.
That is next week's episode. It'll be 5 hours long.
I was about to say ours will be a 5 hour 5 hour segment.
Well, we'll see. What's cool is, well, actually not cool. He won't have autographs in the Topps licensed product. Will he? He will not, I don't think. So we'll see. Stay tuned. All right, what's that last story?
The last story is cards that define each baseball generation. I'm going to let you guys take the reins on this one because I know nothing about baseball.
And I thought this list was pretty accurate, in my opinion.
All right, so this is from Collectibles on Sports Illustrated. And it says the defining baseball card for each generation. So go ahead and scroll down. So the first one was for the Boomers, born from 1946 to 64. Is that official? Is that the Boomers?
Pretty much.
Okay.
I know the 50s is usually associated with it, but that's close
Boomers.
enough.
So
if you would have asked me, I would say the 52 Topps Mantle, right, is what I would have thought.
Right. And so this is the card that Collectibles on SI this writer deemed as the card that defined this generation. Go ahead and scroll down.
And
It's the 1956 Topps Mickey Mantle. Not the 1952, but the 56. I thought this was super interesting. Is it because of the photo? Is it because, Chris, cool factor cards.
Even the article says 52 Mantle, you would think. But maybe that card was just less attainable than this one. So this defined the generation because this card was maybe a little more attainable. Or, I mean, you get the action shot plus the face shot. Maybe people liked the overall look of it at that time better.
Maybe. I mean, the 52 certainly looks more like a portrait painting, right? And this does have a more photography feel to it. I don't know. I thought this was a swing and a miss on this list. What's that next one? Generation. This is my generation. I'm old.
Ooh.
Generation X. From 65 to 1980, and they picked.
I got to agree with this. My older brother had this card. This was kind of the unicorn. I was born in 79, so I'd have been 10 years old when this card came out, and it was like the card we all wanted, and I never got. My brother had it. I agree.
See, I don't know. I don't want to give I don't know. I'm torn on this one because I feel like this was part of.
You got to do.
What year was this? This was 1991.
89 Upper Deck.
89.
You got to do the math though of the ages born. Scroll back up, Jacob. So when they're born in 65 to 80, they're 9 years old to 20 years old ish.
Yeah.
So that age, the 10-year-olds to 25-year-olds. The big collectors at that time all wanted this card. And it was the most valuable then and still most valuable now.
It's crazy though. I think this is crazy. Think about the Hall of Famers that are in those sets in the early 80s, like Ripken's rookie.
Yeah, but look at right now. Nobody wants the Hall of Famers. They want the Mahomeses and the Allens and the Lamars and they want the hot player of the time. This guy was hot at that time, and this card was hot at that time. And it's still the most. When people come in and say, "I got a bunch of cards from the '80s and '90s. Are any of them worth anything?" Guess what? I said, "Not really." I mean, Griffey's '89 Upper Deck. We'll take that any day of the week.
I don't know. Maybe it's just me having bias blinders on. Like for me, it was 1984 Mattingly. I really love that card. And so I'm 5 years older than you, Josh. So this probably makes a little more sense to you. For me, it was Griffey
Mattingly
was
just wasn't as exciting as Griffey, which made everyone
right.
want Griffey.
No, it makes sense. Makes sense. All right, what's that? What's the next one? We got to roll.
Yep.
Millennials.
1 to 96. This is still before my time.
I almost agree with this one. The only way I would disagree with this one is that I wasn't super familiar with this card at that age.
Yeah.
I was more familiar with his Topps one. I think it probably needs to be a Jeter rookie or a Jeter card, but
yeah. And so if you guys are just listening, the millennials, easy for me to say, they're crowning the 1993 Upper Deck SP Jeters SP. Now, there are a couple really rare variations of this, but yeah, I'll co-sign on that. And then finally, Generation Z from 1997 to 2012. This is a no-brainer. Shohei Ohtani's pitching rookie card. Is it too early for this?
no, I would have said before last season, I would have maybe said it was a little too early, but he convinced me last season that he's otherworldly good. I don't know if this was the card I would choose for that era. I would need some time to think about it probably, but I wouldn't totally disagree with this choice.
Yeah.
And you got to think, again, go back to the age group.
97 to 20.
Again, this is 10-year-olds to 20-year-olds. What card do they want? That, I mean, you can't. It's hard
It's not
to
going to be Trout. It's not going to be Trout. Yeah, I mean, when you look at it through the lens of a 10-year-old, I guess so. And those 10-year-olds are going to grow up, and they're going to look back, and they're going to go, you know what? I had that card. Let me go see if I can find that card at a show. And he's 40 years old. And he's going to see these Shohei rookies in a million slabs 20 years from now. So, all right, guys. Josh, I think we've got a pretty big hit from the shop that you want to show.
Yeah,
And then a crazy stat. You got a crazy stat for us this week?
I think I do.
Sweet. But before Josh runs into, goes over this card, shows you this card, if you've made it this far, thank you. Don't forget to like, subscribe, comment, leave a review. Let us know what you like and what you don't like about the show, especially if you don't like something about the show. We love talking about that. All right, Josh.
Yes.
Reveal this card.
This came out of 2024 Donner's Optic Hobby Box from here in the shop. Pull it up, Jacob. This is the very rare dual downtown Caleb Williams, Rome Odunze, Black Pandora, numbered to 25. This is a huge card. Our best estimations on this small sample size of similar sales puts it raw, probably $5 or $6 grand. If anyone wants to do their own comps and tell us if they agree or disagree, go ahead. But there is, for instance, like we were looking up. Oh, here, I got some saved. There is a duel. The only Black Pandora duel I can find recently that has sold on eBay is Brock Purdy and Deebo Samuel. Neither one rookies. Sold for $2,000. So that's where I get my 5 or 6 for maybe the rookie QB here with his rookie wide receiver. And again, just looking at raw, like Jaden and Terry, unnumbered, sells for $3,000. Jaden, of course, cards sell higher than Caleb's, but this one's being super expressed to PSA as we speak. And so, man, it's
and this is, you said this is the Black Pandora. It's not a 1 of 1.
Numbered to 25.
It's out of 25. Interesting.
Black Pandoras are numbered to 25. There's just not a lot of comps out yet on that stuff. So
Does it have that square hollow look to it?
yes.
It's hard to see that here.
Yeah.
That is cool. And it was pulled in the shop. They pulled it
Yeah.
out of, didn't catch that on camera, huh, Josh?
So it was, he bought the box, left, opened it, sent us an immediate picture of it. We said, holy
came
cow.
back. Yeah.
He said, I'm coming back to the shop and y'all can take a nice picture of it in the shop because I want to get it graded. So
Nice. Nice.
Yeah.
Well, congratulations. Fingers crossed for a 10 there. And then we'll see what happens to it after that. All right, Josh, wrap things up with a crazy stat for us.
So Andrew will like this one because it is Cubs related. So several games back, the Cubs gave up a 10-run lead in the game and still won the game. They became the first team in history to allow 10 runs in a single inning after the third inning and still win the game. First time in 113 years that was done. What was cool about that game is that in the seventh and eighth innings of that game, there were 6 home runs, 2 grand slams, all 4 types of a hit, single, double, triple home run, all 4 types of a home run, solo, 2-run home run, 3-run home run, and grand slam, and 3 half innings of 5+ runs. Never in history had all that happened an entire game ever, let alone just 2 innings. So that was a game where I had it on at the shop, and they were whooping the Diamondbacks, if I remember right. And then I look up, and they just lead after lead after lead, and I'm like, they just blew this game, and they were down like 4 going into the last inning or something, and they came back and won. So I was watching it while working at the same time, and then I saw those stats pop up on my feed. I thought that was going to be crazy. Andrew says all the records and things only done 2 or 3 times ever will blow your mind. Sure. My mind blown. The Cubs got to win, which is even better. So.
Well, Josh, thanks for stepping out of the shop, doing the podcast. Jacob, thank you for producing. Guys, thanks for listening and watching. We will see you guys next week.
Peace.